Hey everybody, Jason from ServerBurger here. Today I'm going to show you how to start a project the right way. We're going to get a industry grade tech stack fully Dockerized and set up on your server and on your local environment in less than 10 minutes. We're going to skip the setup hell, the boilerplate, the console scripts, and just have a tech stack that works right out of the box. So let's get started. Okay, so here we are on the main page. We have two options here. We can start fresh or import project. Import project would be perfect if you had already a half-finished project on, let's say, Replit or Lovable, it saved to your Git, and you decided that you needed a tech stack that would actually be able to scale this. So then you would just import your files, it would scan them and tell you the tech stack that you need, and then deploy a working configuration that would work for that particular project. In this case, we're going to just start fresh. I'm going to show you this whole system in another video. I'm going to start fresh so I can show you what it looks like from scratch. Here's all of our chef specials. These are the pre-configured stacks that would be great for most use cases. So startup stack, e-commerce web store, if you want just a simple front end, no database, etc. We're gonna go with something a little heavier. Performance Beast is by far our largest stack. It contains 5 containers. It has a Next.js front end, Fast API backend, PostgreSQL, and then Celery and Redis for your asynchronous background workers. So this is a heavy hitter. This is if you have a bunch of functions or a bunch of notifications or a lot of other asynchronous processes that need to run in the background, you would deploy something like this. So let's go ahead and deploy it. We're going to check out. It's going to make sure that we're authenticated. And we're going to skip the UI design system step. This is really cool, but I'm going to do a whole nother video on this. And we'll click continue, and then we get to the deployment page, and you can choose a custom domain if you have one set up. We'll go ahead and align your SSL certificates once you set up the DNS. In this case, we're going to just use our own subdomain, and we'll call this Performance Beast. Sees if it's available, which it is. We save the project name, and then we start deployment. And that's it. From here, it's just going to run a number of background services, like it's going to set up your server, it's going to get the security groups right, it's going to make sure that Node.js and all of the dependencies are ready to go, and then one by one, it's going to start running through all of the dependencies and all of the pre-configurations needed in order to get these Docker containers running. So this takes roughly anywhere from, 1 to 2 minutes, depending on the stack. This is the largest stack, so it could take a little bit more. Next.js, and then an additional 2 containers. So this would be a perfect time to just get up, go grab some coffee or something. Check Reddit or do whatever you need to do, and it will be done sooner than you can imagine. But if you notice the steps, there's a number of things happening here. We launch from the image. We are activating all the services, getting it ready to go. We're doing a number of health checks. And then in the background, we're extracting all of those files and placing them into a repository personally for you that you'll have read access to so that you can pull all those files to your local. So your server and your local will be in sync with each other. You'll have the same exact stack, the same exact containers, and the same exact everything. So the only thing in order to deploy to your server will be to just run one simple script. No CI/CD, like crazy complicated pipeline. You don't need any console scripts or any crazy things in order to make this work. You simply just run one deploy script that will sync your files to the server and then just restart the containers. So we've made this as easy as possible. If you were to try to do something like this yourself, it could take anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes if you knew what you're doing. But if you're just using AI to do it, and you didn't know what you're doing, it could take hours or days depending on the errors. Trust me, I've been there. I've been in some loops and some situations where configuration files were wrong, or Nginx reverse proxy was wrong, SSL was wrong, and I was going crazy. That's actually why I built this. I don't ever want to have to do that again. So I literally built something that would do it for me. And there you go, it's already done. Your server's up and running, it's completely health checked, it's ready to go. You have your IP, your URL, a brief summary of what you deployed, the server that it's on, and then this is the next step, the most important one. We're going to need to download the clone instructions and SSH key. This is going to help us pull all those files that we injected into the repo onto your local, and then you'll be up and running. So let's go ahead and download that. So you've already done that a million times. And then we'll open up Cursor and get this thing loaded in. Okay, so now we have our deploy key that we downloaded earlier. We're going to move these files to our project directory in WSL. There you see it's already loaded in. We're going to open up the README and we're just going to follow the instructions. First thing is to move the key to the correct directory. So we're just going to copy this and paste that in terminal. So you can see the deploy key got moved. Then we're going to set the correct permissions so that the script works. Done. And now we're going to clone the repository to our locals. So I use the second option, which has the git ssh command, which uses the deploy key and the clone instruction all in one shot. So you only have to paste one thing and press enter. Now it's cloning the entire thing. You can see there's 44 files that made it in. The entire burger is there and we're ready to roll. So I'm going to open this up in its own folder just so that it's easier for me to navigate. So open up that one. Okay, so now we're starting from the folder that we cloned as the root directory. I'm going to open up the README and we're going to put this in preview so that you can see the markdown file a little bit easier. And there's only one thing we have to do. You could read the whole thing and follow the instructions manually, or if you're using an agent like most people are, you can simply just copy and paste this one line. Well, this is magic. This is what I love the most. It's going to effectively hijack your agent to onboard your project for you. So it's going to run this little script called activate burger. What activate burger does is it produces an echo command to your agent to read the instructions and then to help you get Docker set up. So as you can see, it's already read the instructions right here. It knows exactly what you're running. It knows your tech stack. It knows what the focus area is. And then now it's going to just see to check to make sure you have all the correct files to run Docker. So it sees that we have the repo already set up with everything. And now it's going to check which version of Docker you're running. If you're not running one, it's going to help you download one. If so, you then run Docker Compose to check if there's any ports that are conflicting. If there's no conflicting ports, and then now it's going to run Docker Compose up to get the containers up and running. This will take, I don't know, maybe a minute depending on what's all there. Since we have Next.js and 2 other additional containers, it's going to take a little bit extra time, but it shouldn't take too long. It's just loading in all the dependencies and downloading all the files necessary in order to run this full stack. All right, now we're finishing the last few layers, and here we go. We're now starting up the front end. And then after it finishes this, it's going to complete a series of health checks. This is going to make sure that your stack is running perfectly before you get started. All right, so that we're already done there. And now we're going to do all the health checks. All right, all systems are up. You have front-end, back-end, database, and then your background workers all up and running. All health check pass, and Docker is completely ready to go. So now the agent is fully context aware of your entire tech stack, and you can just begin building from here. Since it's deeply aware of your tech stack, it makes it a lot easier asking for it to add a new worker or to add a new page or to create a different service in the back end. It already knows exactly what you're running and where all the ports are and how your file tree is configured, so you can just get up and running. And then I've already included a deploy script for you, so all you have to do once you're done building is run this deploy script, and it will sync the files to your server and then restart the containers, and you'll be off and running. I'm going to include that whole thing in a separate video, but I hope you'd enjoyed this. We basically built an entire industry-grade tech stack using Docker, deployed it to a server, deployed it to your local, and got everything up and running in under 10 minutes. I hope that was helpful. I am excited for you to get started using ServerBurger. And of course, I'm available if you have any questions whatsoever. Hit us up at hello@serverburger.app. Cheers.